Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're going to decode one of the absolute most fascinating, completely unconventional success stories of the modern digital age. We're talking about the phenomenon that is Khaby Lame. Now, if you've spent, well, literally any time on the internet over the last few years, you know his face, you know that signature gesture, and you know exactly what he stands for. But here is what's truly bizarre, and honestly what makes this whole thing so worth digging into. He became the biggest star on a video app that was specifically designed for loud music and hyperkinetic viral dances, all without ever uttering a single sound. We're going to break down exactly how this actually happened.
So really, how do you conquer a noisy internet without saying a single word? I mean, think about it for a second. We live in this hyper-loud, constantly buzzing world of social media. Creators are practically screaming for your attention with flashing text, rapid-fire jump cuts, blaring sound effects, and just constant frantic talking. Yet the person who completely conquered this entire ecosystem did so in complete and utter silence. It literally goes against every single established rule in the modern influencer playbook. No way it should have worked, right? But it did. Over 100 million followers. Let that sink in. Khaby didn't just find a cool little niche audience, he captured the entire globe. Just to put that staggering number into perspective, his following is larger than the entire populations of countries like Germany, the UK, or France. That's enough people to fill tens of thousands of stadiums. This clearly shows us that we aren't just talking about a passing trend or some fleeting viral moment here. We're looking at a permanent, massive shift in how global audiences consume comedy and content. He reached the absolute pinnacle of digital fame. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for exactly how we'll break down this incredible journey today. First, the silent digital superstar. Second, a pandemic success story. Third, the anti-life hack. Fourth, the modern Charlie Chaplin. And finally, followers, fame, and fortune. Starting things off with Section 1, the silent digital superstar. You see, Khaby made a highly deliberate choice to never speak a single word in his videos. And why does this actually matter? Well, because spoken language inherently limits your audience. Typically, social media algorithms heavily favor local languages. So if you speak English, the algorithm naturally serves your videos primarily to other English speakers, completely capping your potential reach. It's like a built-in ceiling. But by remaining completely silent, Khaby's humor bypasses translation entirely. A teenager in Tokyo, a grandmother in Brazil, and a college student in New York can all watch the exact same video and laugh at the exact same time. It's brilliant. He is globally understood by default. Moving right along to Section 2, a pandemic success story. Let's rewind a bit to March 2020. As the COVID-19 lockdowns swept across the world, Khaby lost his job as a factory worker in Italy. Like millions and millions of others, he was suddenly unemployed, stuck at home, and facing an incredibly uncertain future. The sheer desperation and isolation of that early pandemic period, man, it was a universal feeling we all shared. Later in 2020, honestly, just out of sheer boredom during that lockdown, he downloaded TikTok to pass the time. Fast forward to the present, and that unemployed factory worker is a global millionaire creator. The rapid leap from lockdown desperation to absolute digital icon is just nothing short of incredible. And what's wild is that his beginnings were incredibly humble. We're talking an ordinary room, an old phone, and zero fancy lighting. Think about the typical influencer setup you see today. We are so used to creators living in massive Los Angeles content mansions with crazy multi-camera setups, ring lights everywhere, professional microphones, and literal teams of editors scripting every second. Khaby completely lacked all of that. He didn't have a studio, he had no production budget whatsoever, he just had his phone and his unique perspective, proving once and for all that raw authenticity and a universally brilliant concept will always trump a massive production budget. All right, getting into Section 3, the anti-life hack. So on one side of the internet, you have these totally absurd life hacks. You know the ones, right? Those over-engineered, usually completely fake videos that show ridiculous ways to solve non-existent problems, like building a complex mechanical contraption just to peel a banana, or using scissors to eat pizza. On the other side, you have Khaby's common sense. He recognized the amazing built-in comedic relief of contrasting these unnecessarily complicated videos with deadpan, incredibly logical solutions. Without even using his voice, he essentially became the voice of reason for the entire internet. And it really all comes down to his signature 3-step comedic formula. Step 1, watch a complicated video. Step 2, perform the task normally, the way any rational human being would actually do it. Step 3, extend his hands with that famous deadpan face. But it's that third step where the absolute magic happens. When he extends his hands, there is this massive psychological release for the viewer. He acts as our audience surrogate, perfectly expressing our collective exhaustion with all this internet clickbait. That iconic shrug essentially says, guys, it's literally that simple, turning a simple hand movement into a universal trademark overnight.
Which brings us to Section 4, the modern Charlie Chaplin.
Now, we need to talk about universal comedy. This is humor that relies entirely on physical expression and situational irony, completely transcending spoken language. Think about the last time you laughed at something across a crowded room without hearing a single word spoken. Maybe someone tripped or gave a perfectly timed dramatic eye roll. That right there, that's the ancient, primal energy Khaby tapped into. He brought back a classic form of entertainment that doesn't require complex dialogue, intricate setups, or deep cultural context for the punchline to perfectly land.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what he shares with historical, absolute legends like Charlie Chaplin and Mr. Bean. They all use highly expressive facial reactions, rely on zero language barriers, focus on everyday, relatable scenarios, and build their entire routines on mocking unnecessary complexity. Actually, think about Chaplin. He brilliantly mocked the bewildering, mechanical complexities of the industrial age in his classic film Modern Times. Well, Khaby Lame is doing the exact same thing for our era. He is mocking the absurd, exhausting complexities of the digital information age, literally carrying the torch of physical comedy right into the new millennium. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Followers, Fame, and Fortune. Khaby didn't just grow quickly. He systematically overtook previously dominant digital stars who had massive production teams and millions of dollars behind them. I mean, he officially surpassed Charlie D'Amelio to become the most followed creator on the entire platform. Surpassing established royalty like D'Amelio wasn't just a personal win for Khaby, it was a massive paradigm shift in what algorithms actually value. He climbed to the very top of the social media mountain using absolutely nothing but a smartphone and a shrug. And as you'd expect, that massive global reach translates into immense earning power. Get this, he can command up to 50 grand for a single promotional video. Because his engagement is so universally high, brands recognize an unparalleled value proposition. When Khaby points his hands at their product, it literally doesn't matter what language the viewer speaks. The entire world is watching, understanding the message, and absorbing that brand placement seamlessly. It's an advertiser's absolute dream. He went from a jobless factory worker clutching a layoff notice to driving a custom Mercedes-Benz G63. It's a staggering testament to the raw speed of the modern digital economy. When a creator finds a genuinely universal resonance, the leap from total obscurity to tangible, real-world wealth can happen in the blink of an eye. His journey represents the absolute pinnacle of what the creator economy can offer. It's basically the modern fairy tale. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. In a world screaming for attention, is silence the ultimate superpower? Khaby Lame proved that you definitely don't need to be the loudest person in the room to be heard globally. Sometimes, you just have to be the one making the most sense. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found decoding this whole phenomenon as completely fascinating as I did. Catch you next time.